Good gosh, that wasn't pretty. I mean, how many mistakes can one team have? And how bad are the coordinators really? Kevin Byard can't understand Sean Desai's play calling, and Josh Sweat's had enough. Plus, what was Fletcher Cox's message to the team? And could the Dallas loss actually be a good thing for the playoff seeding? Let's talk about it. But first, let's run it. Hey guys, well I'm just gonna apologize right now because obviously I jinxed us or brought us bad luck or something. I don't know, I'm not sure I've seen a team play worse in person. I mean, this unit looked bad from the start with mistake after mistake in literally every phase of the game, except sure, maybe special teams was okay or alright. But there's really only one way to describe a performance like that.
To come up with the appropriate word to describe what the Eagles put on the field tonight, and the one word I keep coming back to is uninterested. They played uninterested football tonight, and it goes back to that game against San Francisco. Their first two drives, they go down the field against the Niners. They come away with 3s instead of 7s. And after that, they played uninterested football the rest of the way there. They played uninterested football for 4 quarters tonight for the most part. They scored no offensive touchdowns. I didn't think there was a defense in the National Football League that could keep this team from scoring a touchdown.
Look, I'm with D-Gun. Like, how else would you describe the inexplicable drops, and not only drops, but ones that would have scored? Or the 3 fumbles from your star players on what looked like promising drives? Oh yeah, and the O-line simply got worked by Dallas last night. But the saddest part is that we showed up with 0 intensity, even after A.J. Brown promised things would be different.
I'm gonna keep what was said in the locker room, but you're gonna see. You're gonna see Sunday.
Can someone help me out? What was different? Honestly, all that AJ did was get Dallas cornerback Stephon Gilmore fired up, with Gilmore saying afterward, he called me old at the beginning of the game. That lit a fire in me. I was mad and I was gonna show him. Good for them. They've got a corner who can find the fountain of youth, while James Bradbury's been playing like garbage. And Dallas was no different, with a 30-year-old being targeted 9 times for 7 receptions, 63 yards, and 1 touchdown, totaling a 33.7 game grade.
Oh, that's bad.
I'm sorry, but he's just been awful, which led to an Eagles fan showing up at the NovaCare complex this morning to protest, showcasing 2 trash cans labeled No Play Slay and Bradbury, aka Burntberry, while also sporting a Fire Sean Desai message as well. Now I know the Birds have been inexcusably bad, but I'm not really a fan of kicking them while they're down. But I get it, because even our superstars have gone missing. However, while I try to be an optimist, I'm ready to kick last week's message out the window. And despite how bad it may look, I'll encourage everyone to wait 1 more week. Let's see what the Birds do versus Dallas. Update for you, it's time to panic. Yeah, we've officially reached that point, because whatever rhetoric Nick Sirianni's spinning, it's not hitting home, or maybe it is. As John Clark shared pregame that the head coach's message to the team involves showing Michigan's Fab Five and wanted the guys to use them for inspiration. It all makes sense now. You mean he wanted them to have a brain fart and make uncharacteristic mistakes. Got it. Okay, sorry, I know that's a lot of negativity, but you can just tell I'm a little annoyed. And you guys know how confident I was coming in, especially after the predictions were all on Dallas to win. Which is why I really thought I'd be doing a recap saying, how about that Cowboy and Shaq Leonard, but instead it's how about them Cowboys. I don't know, it felt like the performance we had last week against San Francisco that it meant we were due for a bounce back. Heck, most of y'all know this is why I did a video entitled The Reason Why the Eagles Should Be Confident Ahead of the Cowboys. And how many times did I say, come on, it can't get any worse.
Worse? How could they get any worse? Take a look around you, Ellen. We're at the threshold of hell.
Well, guess what? We're officially past that point now. Since after not forcing a punt in 6 straight possessions versus the Niners, the Philly Swiss cheesesteak D allowed the Cowboys to pick up right where they left off, scoring a touchdown on the opening drive and going 3 for 3 on 3rd down on the possession. Yet unfortunately, as we all know, it only got worse when Dak Prescott completed a pass on 3rd and 9 to CeeDee Lamb for a 1st down, and then eventually culminating in a 60-yard field goal to put Dallas up by 10. As Jeff Kerr shared, the Eagles are down double digits for the 5th straight game, which obviously it's on both sides of the ball, and I'll get to the offense in a sec, but as much as I've held out hope for Sean Desai, my patience is just about gone, because the constant conversions kept up the entire rest of the first half as Dallas built a 24-6 lead. And I don't know about you, but the most surprising element to me is that our pass rush has become just about non-existent. I know, technically we came away with 3 sacks by the end of the game, but Dak seemingly had all day to throw just about the entire game, and especially in the first half. Which is why Josh Sweat was very frustrated afterwards, saying, "We're not where we're supposed to be. Me personally, on my side, I feel I definitely could have done better, but it's too hard. I'm just not used to when we apply pressure well that we don't take care of each other all the time. That's what we need to be better on. Too many escapes. I'm just not used to it, not used to it, not used to it. I'm used to rushing so well against good opponents in both ways. That's why I'm frustrated. You know, obviously I've got to watch the film, but I'm not used to our group not taking care of each other when it comes to pressure." Okay, I don't have to tell you this, but when a carefree guy like Sweaty starts voicing frustration like this, that's saying something. And I really don't blame him because, the linebackers and pass coverage have been awful, but we all expected more out of this D-line. Yet the Birds now rank as the worst in the league in sack rate. Yes, I know, that's really hard to believe, but it's true. Although it's not just there now, since over the last 4 weeks, the previous #1 rushing defense in the league is giving up 4.8 yards per carry. Now, yeah, we've had a few injuries, yet so has every other NFL team, so I hate that excuse. And I'm sorry, I get that we lost a couple pieces from the defense last season, but there's no reason we should rank 28th in points per game, 29th in points per drive, 22nd in yards per drive, 21st in turnovers forced, 31st in passing touchdowns allowed, 26th in first down penalties, and last in third down defense, along with 30th in red zone defense. I mean, that's just deplorable. And Slay had one solution for Desai, saying, "Make it simple so you play faster. Simple communication, in and out, line up, and play ball." Look, I'm all for being on the same page, yet I think it's more than just communicating better, which is probably why Kevin Byard referenced the early 4th and 2 call on Dallas's second possession, while completely disagreeing with Desai's decision. After sharing Coach was switching it up a little bit and playing a little zone. Obviously, I'm not making the calls, you'd have to ask him what he was thinking exactly. I don't know if they checked to a run, but it was tough to defend that. Okay, I mean, I remember thinking during the game that we made it pretty easy for them to convert there. And once again, it's saying something when you've got a veteran and all-pro like Kevin Byard who's questioning Sean Desai. But personally, I think he has every right to. Now, I'm with you, Byard hasn't lived up to expectations so far, and with Reed Blankenship suffering a concussion against Dallas, we're going to ask more from the 30-year-old safety. However, to me, it feels like a good portion of the guys not playing well is them lacking the confidence and not feeling like they're being put in good spots to win. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but what do you guys think about Slay and Byard's comments? Oh yeah, by the way, Josh Sweat also continued to vent after that when the Inquirer's Jeff McClain shared that Sweat pulled a reporter away from the defensive line corner of the locker room to the other side where the offense was to voice frustration for the defensive group, saying, "I'm sick of almost, but it's all of us. If I'm not getting pressure, I have to be sure I'm staying back and taking care of my gap. But I'm tired of hearing you're getting all these pressures and bleep like that, bleep all that. You know me, I'm always a free spirit, but it's piling up, and I feel the season is slipping away from us, and it's getting me upset. We've got to take care of each other." Again, I agree with Sweaty. The season may not technically be slipping away, but there's no way that I would say I'm confident in us getting to the Super Bowl right now. Because the only thing we lead the league in, like Nick pointed out, is the Eagles saying we got to fix these mistakes and then not fixing them. But maybe the bigger issue is having your captain in Slay scrambling to Twitter after the game to retweet a 3rd and 17 pass interference call to make sure everyone knows it wasn't his fault.
That wasn't my fault.
I'm sorry, but that just feels really childish to me. But like Fletch said afterward, it's now or never for this squad.
But best believe we're going to all look ourselves in the mirror, as we did this week. We didn't get the outcome that we wanted, but guys, like I just said, we're going to find out who the dudes that really are in this team, and I believe in everybody. So, like I say all the time, the most impressive thing about this league in the regular season is you get a chance to go do it again. And now it's one of them deals where we kind of control it. We control this. We have to go on the road again, across the country and play another good team. So it's to me it's like a playoff game from here on out because we got to fight to the end right now.
All right, man. I really hope that we come out and prove to everyone that this last couple games was a fluke. But this isn't the time to abandon ship like some fake or fair-weathered fans. Yet that doesn't mean we can't be concerned because, like we saw against Dallas, the offense was just as bad as the defense. In fact, I'd argue a little bit worse, since that was the first time since 2019 that an Eagles offense has failed to score a touchdown in a game. And not only did it include costly miscues and 3 fumbles. FYI, for those counting, the Birds now have the same number of turnovers they did in all of last season, with 4 games remaining. Okay, no doubt taking care of the ball has been a constant issue with this team so far, but the playmakers just didn't make plays, as both A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith had passes hit them in the hands but couldn't come up with a catch for the score. Again, it wasn't only the players, because whether you choose to believe it's Brian Johnson's play calling or Nick Sirianni with the mastermind, A.J. Brown's route tree doesn't make a lot of sense, and neither did various instances whenever we needed to get a first down. Like the third quarter go for it, which I like the decision to go for it by the way, but why on earth are we running routes short of the sticks? And for sure, give Dallas credit for a good game plan and timely blitzing, but we made life easy for them. The sad part is that I don't think we've played a complete game all season. However, we've now played 2 completely incomplete games in back-to-back weeks. Although if you want the silver lining, Jalen believes Philly will be okay.
This is something we're going through, not necessarily stuck in, and that's something that I believe in. We have to be able to learn from it, and we will. It's an eagerness to just continue to press on. I think it's a lesson. I think they're all lessons. We learn more about ourselves. We learn more about what we need to improve on, and we just need to capitalize on this moment because it is an opportunity for us. We've played some really good football teams all year, and we've been challenged and stretched out in a ton of different ways. And so we just have to continue to grow.
I don't know. I really want to believe Jalen, but where are you guys at? And how are you feeling about the point differential? I know a loss is a loss, and I've heard the argument that it doesn't matter about how many points you've lost by, yet I'd somewhat disagree, since to me, I think more often than not, it's a pretty good barometer for whether you're overachieving or underachieving. Whatever the case, Jason Kelce still believes the team is better than what the stats show.
Yeah, it's just inconsistent, at times moving the ball, but then mistakes and turnovers and missed assignments, they get all 3 phases of the offense, all 3, I think we need to get a lot better and more consistent, and just not 2 really poor performances, but I think Nick feels the same way that we all do, and that we can play much better than we're playing right now, and we're going to go back to back to working on it this week.
All right, you guys know me. I'm going to be as positive as I can, and while it's tough coming off these losses, the Eagles do control their own destiny, kind of. Since if we win out, we'll still end up at the worst as the number 2 seed, since based on the tiebreakers, we'd still be ahead of Dallas. Plus, with Dallas having the much tougher remaining schedule, it does seem more likely that we can still win the division. But I think the toughest remaining Philly game will be in Seattle this week when we take on DK Metcalf and Geno Smith on Monday Night Football, assuming Geno's good to go, that is. Although I should point out that the Eagles haven't beaten the Seahawks since 2008, so it's not going to be a cakewalk. However, if Philly can win out, it might be better as the 2 seed, since like Anthony pointed out, the likely 1 seed playoff path would be at home versus Dallas in the divisional round, followed by hosting the Niners again in the conference championship. Whereas the 2 seed would probably be a home game against someone like the Packers, and then at home again versus Detroit, followed by going to San Francisco for the NFC Championship. What do y'all think? I know it's really far ahead, and honestly, the most important thing is getting this train back on the tracks. But like we've said before, and even though there may be some reasoning for it, no coordinator is getting fired this year. The only way that happened is if the Birds shockingly failed to make playoffs. But go ahead and let me know what were y'all's biggest takeaways, the good, the bad, the ugly. Let's hear it. This has been the Philly Special.